Let me tell you something, and don't laugh, but sometimes I think the universe is just waiting for the right moment to drop a little magic into your lap, usually when you least expect it. That's how it started for me, right there in Rosie's diner, with the linoleum floors sticking to my sneakers, the whole place smelling like burnt onions and weak coffee, and my hair, well, let's just say the messy bun had seen better days. My name's Cara Delaney, and at 28, I was practically part of the furniture at Rosie's, slinging hash and pouring endless coffee for the good folks of Willow Creek. I knew everybody's business, and everybody knew mine, or at least they thought they did. What they didn't see was the weight I carried, that every double shift was for my little brother Ethan, 16 and sick more than not, needing medicine we could barely afford, dreams of fashion school in New York quietly suffocating beneath a pile of unpaid bills. Still, you play the cards you're dealt, right? Stitch a little hope into every day and keep going. One rainy Tuesday, the kind where the sky just won't quit and old man Jenkins won't either. Muttering about back in his day, as he nursed his coffee, I was restocking ketchup bottles, humming along to whatever off-key tune Sally was butchering in the kitchen. That's when the bell above the door went off, and in walked this guy like a thunderbolt. Soaked to the bone, dripping on my clean floors, and looking around with a face that said, I don't belong here. He was wearing a suit worth more than my car, sharp jaw, blue eyes that could cut glass, and a watch that screamed big city money. His Porsche, yes, a real-life Porsche, was parked all crooked out front, hood popped, looking way too fancy for Willow Creek. He was on the phone, barking at somebody about roadside assistance being hours away, his voice slicing through the hum of the diner. Everybody looked up. I just rolled my eyes and went back to work. City folks passing through, always in a hurry, always acting like they were too good for the place that made my world go round. When he finally hung up, he dropped into a booth like he owned the joint, and I made my way over, notepad in hand, ready for whatever attitude he'd dish out. Welcome to Rosie's, I said, all smiles. Coffee to start? He barely glanced at me. Black, and make it quick. Yeah, that happened. I brought him his cup, and because I can't help myself, said, rough day. He just grumbled about his car, stuck here for 4 hours in nowhere. I bit back the urge to set him straight. Willow Creek's got its charms, if you know where to look. What's a guy like you doing out here anyway? I asked. He mumbled something about business. Not that it mattered, stuck in our little corner of the world. The thing is, I know cars. Not from classes or anything fancy, but from years patching up Ethan's beat-up bike, fixing Dad's old truck before he died. Something told me this guy's problem wasn't as big as he thought. Mind if I take a look? I offered. He looked at me like I'd grown a second head. You fix cars? I grinned. You'd be surprised. I grabbed the old red toolbox from the closet and headed out, rain soaking straight through my uniform, but that's life. Under the hood, it took me maybe 10 minutes to find the loose alternator belt, tighten it up, check the connections, and slam it shut. Try it now, I called, tossing him the keys. He gave me a skeptical look, but did what I said, and the Porsche roared to life, just like new. His jaw dropped. How the hell? I just shrugged, wringing out my ponytail. Told you, I got a knack. He fumbled for his wallet, wanted to pay me. I waved him off. Keep your money. Just doing my good deed for the day. He handed me a business card anyway. Said he ran a tech company in San Francisco, and they could use people like me. I laughed it off. I wasn't leaving Ethan, not for anything. He looked at me, maybe seeing something he didn't expect, and for a second he seemed almost real. Then he left, back to his world of glass and steel, and I figured that was that. But as I went back to wiping counters, my fingers brushed against the pendant around my neck, this little silver oval, engraved with vines, bought years ago from a pawn shop when I was 19 and desperate, scraping together cash for Ethan's school supplies. I'd always felt like it was meant for me, even if I never knew why. Turns out, Alex Carter, that was his name, couldn't get me out of his head either. Back in his corner office, surrounded by people who cared more about his money than his heart, he kept thinking about that waitress in the rain who fixed his car and didn't want a damn dime for it. A week later, he was back, telling himself it was just to say thanks, but you know how that goes. The diner was busier, lunchtime crowd buzzing, but I saw him right away, and he saw the pendant, catching the light as I poured coffee for old Mrs. Rhodes. He stared at it, eyes wide, like he'd seen a ghost. When I brought his coffee, he just blurted out, "That necklace, where'd you get it?" I blinked, kind of thrown. "Pawn shop, years ago." "What?" His voice dropped. It's just familiar." "Mind if I take a closer look?" For some reason, I trusted him, so I unclasped it, handed it over. His hand shook as he turned it over and read the tiny engraving, "To my heart, always." He looked up, voice rough. "This belonged to my mother." Now, let me back up a sec because that hit me like a truck. I stammered something about buying it fair and square, and he said, "I'm not accusing you. I need to know how it ended up here." So we started piecing it together, me in this suit from San Francisco, sitting in a booth late at night with coffee going cold between us. We dug through old boxes called pawn shops, even tracked down records back in his city. Turns out my mom Leah and his mom Margaret were childhood friends, thick as thieves in Willow Creek. There was even an old photo, two young women grinning in the sun, Leah and Maggie, summer '78, scribbled on the back. The pendant? Margaret had given it to my mom as a symbol of their bond. When life got hard and money got tight, Ethan's first big hospital bill, Mom pawned it, hoping she'd buy it back. She never did, and I found it years later, never knowing the story behind it. That's when everything shifted. The necklace wasn't just a pretty trinket, it was the missing link between two families, two lives running side by side without even knowing. I bought my mother's lost treasure, and Alex had found a piece of his mother he thought was gone forever. One night, after closing, we sat at the counter, the pendant shining between us in a neon glow. Alex said, "It's yours, Kara." It always was. But I shook my head. It's both of ours. It's both our mother's stories tied together. He looked at me, really saw me, and said, "You're incredible. You know that?" I just laughed. I'm just me. But for the first time, I let myself believe maybe that was enough. Alex stuck around after that, more than he planned. He convinced me to take a remote job with his company Logistics. Nothing fancy, but I was good at it. Suddenly, Ethan's treatments were covered by a grant. My sketchbook came back out, and my life started to open up in ways I hadn't let myself imagine. We grew close, not a movie romance, but something better. Messy, real, full of late-night drives and bad karaoke, and mornings where the world felt possible again. I never left Willow Creek. Still worked at Rosie's. Still wore that pendant, a bridge between the past and the future. One night, as the diner emptied out, I sketched a new dress, vines curling around the hem, inspiration straight from the necklace that changed everything. Alex walked in, no suit this time, just jeans and that crooked smile. "Ready for dinner?" he asked. I closed my sketchbook, heart full. "Yeah, let's go." As we stepped out into the night, the stars overhead, the pendant caught the light, a reminder that love, memory, and a little bit of luck can always find their way home. You ever wonder what stories are hiding in the things you carry, or how a single act of kindness can change two lives forever? Yeah, me too. So tell me, would you have done the same on my shoes, or would you have just taken the money and run? I'd love to hear your take on it, right or wrong. It's the stories we share that make us who we are.